All right, looks like I'm live. Bit of a late one tonight, guys. Today I thought I would ask you a question, and the question today is: are you eating enough? Um, so I'm sure you've heard, the cliches around, calories in versus calories out. You're overweight because you're eating too much. Or you're overweight because you're lazy and you're not exercising enough. And you know, that's interesting, right? But let's consider for a minute counterintuitively that you need to eat more. And what I mean by that is this is actually one of the first things that I help clients do depending on where they're at. Um, and so, for example, with lifestyle clients, it's usually to increase the number of meals they're having a day because they're usually having one or two. So we move them up to 3 or 4 balanced meals and doing that consistently at roughly the same times every day, right? Um, and we also work on crowding out less healthy, heavily processed and caloric dense foods. With athletes, on the other hand, it's usually weaning them off heavily processed supplements, so-called health foods, and maybe a rigid fat loss plan that they've been on since the dawn of time because it worked for them once, and getting them to eat more balanced meals and not random bits of shiz. I mean, I've seen some terrible meal plans out there, like, for example, 40 grams of nuts with like 50 grams of cucumber. How's that even a fucking meal? Excuse my language. So, anyway, we don't eat like that, right? And yeah, maybe when you're dialing in close to a competition, you will have a random sort of food selection and a very low calories and so on for a very short period of time, and for a reason. But for most part, most of us don't need to go to that extreme. We don't have to get weird about our food, is what I'm saying. Um, and yeah, so it's about that, getting the right, and most important thing is actually getting the right calories to feed their muscles, because the key part for them to get lean or to get a better body composition is to preserve muscle, right? So we need to feed the muscles, and so that we can actually also increase our metabolic rate to help with fat loss, right? Um, and then anyway, in both cases, whether it's lifestyle or athletes, we're usually working on building the right skills as well. And we focus on the how rather than what. After all, you can't, you're not going to be able to get more lean protein in or more healthy fats in if you haven't actually gone and shopped for it or made time to prepare it, right? So a lot of people focus on the what rather than the how. And we don't always have to start there. I mean, there's a lot of other skills as well that I help clients master. Um, because it's really important to learn these skills, not just to learn to follow a meal plan. And it may sound boring, but it actually works. And in the end, it also saves everyone time, right? Because, I often get approached by people who, they want a customized meal plan, or even worse, they want like my meal plan that I'm on, and they usually want it for free. Um, and look, I get it. Most of us are trained to think that it's just that we don't have the right tools, right? Um, but with all things, it's really what we don't have, but what we haven't yet created that's usually the biggest barrier, right? And as such, any kind of meal plan by itself, no matter how good it is, it's never going to be followed. Um, or it'll be followed incorrectly, and followed for too long, right? So in the end, you don't achieve the result that you want, and you haven't actually, you know, done the whole process. You've kind of just gone, okay, well, I could just do a transaction here and just get something and then just put it in place and we'll be fine, right? But what you end up doing is wasting both our time, right? Because you're not actually leaning in. So, if you're really serious about making a change, then I'll say it again, but you've got to be prepared to lean in to lean up. And that's what it really takes. So if you're really serious about getting started, then let me know in the comments whether or not you're ready to lean in.